All right, beautiful people, I am doing this video to talk about a very important topic, and this is over tourism and how it is affecting communities in different countries. Specifically, we're going to take the example of Tenerife, which is the beautiful island that I had a privilege and pleasure to visit recently, and that about which an article was posted recently where the local populations were complaining about over tourism, and they really took matters in their own hands. Now, Tenerife is a Canary Island, the largest, I believe, Canary Island, and it is located close to Spain, so it is under Spain's governance. But interestingly, the island is also just a bit 100 kilometers away from Africa, so it's closer to Africa than to many other European countries. And Tenerife is one of the top tourist destinations, not just in Europe, because it's an all-year destination where they don't have any winter, so it's summer all year long, but also because it has a wide variety of things to offer. If you're into hiking, if you're into the outdoors, snorkeling, diving, paragliding, swimming, paddling, kayaking, if you like beaches, black sand beaches, if you like excellent food, if you like culture and so forth, Tenerife is a destination for you. Tenerife is also the island that has the second largest carnival in the world, according to online data, just after Rio de Janeiro. So Rio de Janeiro is the largest carnival in the world in Brazil, and then the second one is Tenerife with the Carnival of Santa Cruz. In terms of population, Tenerife is an island that has 2 million people. However, last year in 2023, data shows that close to 13 million people visited Tenerife in 2023. With that being said, the populations of Tenerife, the Canarians, have been making their dissatisfaction known to the local government, stating that the fact that there is so much tourism to the island, even though it's good, it is affecting the local population, specifically in terms of availability of land, housing, and the fact that prices are going up. This is a phenomenon that is called neighborhood gentrification, where when you have an influx of tourists and tourism in a specific region of the world, it starts to make the cost of living more expensive to the locals, because now businesses are catering to tourists and they are operating based on tourist prices. We see these situations in Mexico. We've seen this at some point in Venice, in Italy, and we've also seen it in Bali. These are the most popular examples of places where you've had neighborhood gentrification. Now, for Tenerife, an island that has about 2 million people and that saw a tourism number visitors record of 13 million in 2023, you can understand how populations will be upset about this mass over tourism. The point of this video is to explain specifically what the population are complaining about, and to also showcase where the opportunities are for the local government to be able to take actions on those things and to make sure that the life of the locals is better. Remember that the point of tourism is to improve the livelihoods, to bring back more economy in the country, improve the economy, thereby improving the livelihood of people. However, if you get to a point where tourism, even before it can actually reach the economic impact, if you get to the point where it starts to affect the life of the locals in a negative light, then this is actually not going to be an intended effect, and it's going to have a reverse effect. What's going to happen if this mass tourism and over tourism problem is not solved is that the local populations are going to start to resent tourists, because they are going to feel like the government is prioritizing, or the institutions, the tourism industry, the Ministry of Tourism, the tour operators, and everybody involved in the tourism field, they're going to feel like they are prioritizing tourists, they are prioritizing visitors over them. And as a result, they are going to start resenting the tourists, which could lead to things like violence, which could lead to tourists feeling unsafe. And you know that from the moment people start to feel unsafe about going to a country, then they're going to start writing about it. It's going to be mediatized. People are going to share their impressions, and in return, now it's going to have a domino effect where other tourists are not going to feel comfortable coming to the country because there have been reports of them feeling unsafe. So that would then have the opposite effect of what the government is trying to achieve with every single thing that has been invested in the tourism industry in Tenerife. This is one of the reasons why it's very important for the local government and the Ministry of Tourism and tour operators to take this seriously, because if the population's desires are not met, then every single investment that was done in the field of tourism to bring more people to the island is going to go to waste. Now, the article that I'm going to link below for you guys is going to explain every single thing that the populations are asking for and how this is affecting them. But I also want to highlight the fact that before these recent episodes of public outcry that happened, that was documented today, earlier this year, they had a protest. The locals, the Canarians had a protest. There was, they complained about it. They had a march about it, saying that the government and the Ministry of Tourism needs to do something about this, the fact that there are too many visitors coming, right? And following that in March, then there was another uprising in October, and apparently then this is now happening in November. Now, what are the populations suggesting for this? So because you're having a lot of tourists coming to Tenerife, what is happening is to accommodate for the tourist demands, right? There is land allocated to hotel real estate developers to build more hotels. People who have like accommodations properties, turn them into Airbnbs and so forth. And that means that a lot of the land is now geared towards business and tourist real estate projects, which means there might not be any available land for the locals. But also, even if they have housing available for locals, no renter will be okay to rent it at a local price when they know that they can turn their properties into Airbnbs, into vacation homes for tourists who are able to going to be paying more, this is one of the problems. This is what the locals are complaining about. The second way in which over-tourism is affecting the locals is in the fact that it reduces the amount of resources available on the island. Now, if you are in an island like Tenerife contributes widely to the economy of Spain, specifically producing banana. I think they are the top producer of banana in Europe, and that is a huge part of their economy in addition to tourism. But because it's also an island, a lot of the products that they have, they import it. So when they import the products from other places of Europe, including Spain, the products are available for not just the local, but because tourists are now coming in huge numbers, there comes also the need to import massively, right? And sometimes the demand, what is available and land might not be available for both the tourists and the locals. So you might have a lot of shortage of products that people need for their daily sustenance. That is another problem. The third issue with over-tourism is the fact that it can also increase the waste production within the destination, because you have a lot more people, you have a lot more waste production. So that means that it puts a bigger burden on the sanitary resources, the systems that are responsible for like waste management and so forth. Now, if you are in a country where those systems are set in place in a way that they can actually accommodate larger numbers, it's okay. But if you are on an island or in a place where it's really catered for a specific number of people, this can become a problem. And so I wanted to point out these three ways in which over-tourism affects the local populations. Now, for somebody who is visiting Tenerife, for a 5 days, 7 days trip, you're on vacation, you have your activities, your adventures, your days at the beach and everything, you will not feel these things, because already when you're on vacation, you are in vacation mood. You don't really pay attention to what is happening unless you are like a super sensitive person who cares about the local economics and things that are happening in the country, right? But generally, when you're on vacation, you want to escape, so you don't really get yourself involved in those kind of things. So you will not feel that, and so because you will not feel that, you might not even realize this is happening. However, for the locals who live in a destination, this is something that is happening and that is affecting their daily living. This is affecting, going to work, being able to provide for their families, being able to just access their basic necessities. And this is one of the reasons why the populations are having a public outcry, asking the government to find better ways to sustain the tourism. Now, if you're watching this video, you might be thinking, tourists, and I'm not saying that is the case, but some people might be thinking that, tourists bring income to a country, so people should be grateful about that and so forth. And it's true, tourists bring income to the country, but at the same time, the country offers something to tourists, right? The reason people come to that country is because the country has something to offer. You will not go to a country where you don't think that you'll be able to enjoy yourself. But even if the tourists bring income to a country and XYZ, it's important for people to know when you travel to a country that you are a guest in that country. You are allowed to be in that country, and your presence should not affect negatively the life of the people who are there. And so it now becomes a really, really critical challenge for the local governments to figure out how they can control the current amount of tourists that are coming with the needs of the locals. And this is where I want to propose a few solutions. But I think I'm actually going to do a different video to talk about the solutions that I want to propose. Maybe you want to stay tuned to this channel to see what I want to propose. One last thing that I want to talk about what the locals are saying is, it's very important to note this. The locals are not saying that we don't want any tourists anymore. This is not the point of this video, and I'm going to put the article where this video came from, that inspired this video, in the description box of this video. They are not saying that we don't want tourists to come anymore. They are saying that we want tourists to come, we love tourists. However, it's important to review the tourism model so that we actually ensure that we are able to sustain these tourists, and we are able to, most importantly, sustain the local population's life. So the responsibility really comes to the parties involved in the tourism development, in the tourism industry, to figure out how we can still keep the tourists coming in. 13 million tourists per year. It's huge for an island that only has 2 million inhabitants. It's huge. It's like 11 millions more than people who live there, and it's huge. It's a lot of income, it's a lot of economic opportunities for the small business owners and so forth, right? But it shouldn't be at the detriment of the overall health of the population. So I would love to hear what your thoughts are on the situation. There are currently a lot of public outcries, or episodes of public outcry in Tenerife. The populations are complaining, and this time they made their wishes very clear. They made their disapproval very well known to the public authorities. I'm going to put the article for you to read it as well, but I would like for you to tell me, what do you think about this? What do you think are some of the solutions that the government can come up with to mitigate this situation? I would love to hear from you. And in the next video, I'm going to share with you what my proposed solutions would be to correct or to mitigate this problem of mass tourism that is affecting specifically the housing and the livelihood of Canarians in Tenerife. Thank you for watching. I'm looking forward to hearing from you in the comments.